A woman in suburban Denver was living in fear. Weeks before she was killed, she reached out to police, terrified, stalked, convinced someone was watching her. That woman was Kristil Krug, and what unfolded next turned horror into heartbreak, deception, and justice served. If you like our deep dive reporting, subscribe to Crime Scene 24/7. Like, comment, share, and never turn a blind eye when someone cries out for help. On October 2nd, 2023, Kristil received a text from someone calling himself Anthony, claiming to be a former boyfriend. He asked if she was up for a hookup. Kristil did not respond. The next day, messages followed filled with obscenities and even a command to kill yourself. Don't waste my time. She told police she believed this was more than an unwanted advance. It was terrorizing. The harassment escalated. Crude sexual messages, threatening notes, and even a photograph. A picture of Kristil's husband getting out of his car at work. One message ominously referenced seeing her at the dentist. Saw you at dentist. See you soon. Kristil and her husband had recently installed home security cameras. She kept a meticulous stalker log with dates, times, and details of each unsettling interaction. By December 14th, 2023, the terror turned real. Officers were called to the Krug home for a welfare check. When they entered the garage, they found Kristil lifeless. Head wounds, multiple fractures, a stab wound to the chest. She was pronounced dead about 15 minutes later at a nearby hospital. Detectives initially treated it as a stalking gone wrong, with suspicion on a former boyfriend. Within hours, they searched the home of Jack Anthony Holland, the man Kristil had dated decades earlier, who reportedly was hundreds of miles away at the time. He had a watertight alibi, a store receipt placing him in Utah the same day. The purchase, a sweatshirt, was time-stamped 12:16 p.m., while Kristil's death occurred at around 8 a.m. The suspect was quickly cleared. As the forensic net tightened, investigators unearthed a chilling truth. The threatening texts and emails came from an IP address tied to Kristil's husband's workplace, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. The messages that had seemed to come from an ex-lover were instead part of an elaborate scheme by Daniel Krug to impersonate that old boyfriend. He'd used burner phones, fake email accounts, and delayed send scheduling on Kristil's own phone to stage an alibi for himself. In his own house, the surveillance cameras had been disabled or taped over just hours before Kristil's murder. Dashcam footage from his car wasn't recorded that morning. Internet search history from the night before revealed he had looked up phrases like, "How hard to hit someone to cause unconsciousness." Prosecutors argued this was not random. This was a premeditated act by a husband terrified of exposure. During trial, the prosecution laid bare the digital evidence, the threatening messages, the emails, the impersonation, and the motive. Kristil had confronted him, reportedly telling him she couldn't rule him out as the stalker. Rather than admit the truth or face consequences, he chose to silence her forever. A jury found Daniel Krug guilty of first-degree murder, stalking, extreme emotional distress, stalking, credible threat, and criminal impersonation. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus additional years for the stalking and impersonation counts. To those watching this tragedy from afar, this was not a stranger's crime. This was deception, manipulation, and murder by someone she trusted. This was domestic violence dressed in the mask of threats and terror. The truth, painstakingly uncovered by investigators, proved that love turned lethal. If you want more hard-hitting crime stories told with clarity and unflinching detail, subscribe to Crime Scene 24/7. Like, comment, share, and never turn a blind eye when someone cries out for help.